All right, we're live, Josh. We're going to give the people a few seconds. I say seconds, not minutes, because we are running a little late on this episode of We're going to hold off. You know what? I was about to do the intro, but I forgot the seconds to give them, Josh. I'm sorry about that.
Yep.
That's my mistake. That's my mistake. Move up a little bit, Josh. Just a little bit. There we go. Boom, bam, bow. We got the angles. We are here for another day of lunch break news. That's why it's them lunch break boys, the Pharaoh Live, and the one, the only, Josh. Josh, what it do, what it does. Welcome to today's episode of Lunch Break News. How you doing today, bro?
Great day, and it's partially cloudy.
Those are my favorite type
love it.
of days because we're out here in the wilderness, Josh.
We are.
We're out here butt naked to the environment.
Yes.
Like, not literally, and I got to say that
to the environment
because we're at the parks. I don't want them hearing me say crazy stuff with a microphone in my hand.
Right.
You know, as you know what? Speaking of microphones.
Yeah.
Not going to do it, Josh. Not going to do it. I'm not going to go into the salaciousness of what we have going on today. I'm going to start off right because, as they say, I am the MMA guy. That's right. Mike is MMA, the man with the golden mic, the one that's back at it like a crack addict in the 80s for every major combat sports event. First of all, let's start, Josh. Let's thank the over 2,000 people on YouTube that joined us for that fantastic watch along. But even greater than that, Josh, and hello to all the people joining. Thank you to the over 40,000 people, Josh, that joined us on TikTok on Saturday for UFC 318, Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier, and Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios. Man, all great fights throughout the night. But first and most importantly, again, because I'm the MMA guy, is that BMF title fight versus Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier.
Love that fight.
Josh, we talked about leading up to it, right? Because we're goddamn journalists and we don't miss a beat.
Journalists.
We talked about the fact that it was a trilogy, unlike many others. A lot of trilogies, you see 1-1 going into the third, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe you'll see a 1-0-1, there was a draw or something, a la Tyson Fury or something like that with Wilder, right? But this was more like Katie Taylor versus Serrano in the sense that one of them was already 2-0 on top.
Yep.
Now, just like the Katie Taylor-Serrano fight, there were questions still to be answered. For Serrano and Taylor, it was the judges, man. Each of those fights, I had Serrano winning, and she just couldn't make it up. Even though she was the power puncher, she had more volume during those first two fights than Katie Taylor, and still lost to the volume striker. All power shots.
It's crazy. Hey, it was kind of wild, but
we're not going to go too far back in the woods, but I say that to say, Dustin Poirier, the first clean victory, right? He submitted Max. It was earlier in both their careers. Is at 145, which wasn't Dustin's natural weight class, but he was the bigger guy at the time, right? And he beat Max Holloway fair and square. The second, there were questions to be had. There was a bunch of stuff going on. Max Holloway was supposed to fight Khabib, and then Dustin was supposed to fight Tony Ferguson, and this and that happened. They wound up fighting each other. They called him Muffin Top Max because he could not get that body to fit 155 in such a short notice. What he did set against Justin Gaethje, what he did at this fight was show that he belongs at 155.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to imagine the matchups he could have had if he moved there 3-4 years ago. But then we would have lost all of what makes Max great.
The greatness of him.
And that's losing to Volkanovski and then cleaning out the division multiple times to show that he was the only one worthy to fight Alexander Volkanovski.
Yeah.
So this one goes Max's way finally. And I got to say, this took all questions away from a rematch, even if Dustin wasn't retiring to me.
Facts.
Dustin Poirier still looked like Dustin Poirier. He didn't look like some washed-up version of himself. But we saw that Max in that second fight was the faster fighter, but couldn't put any oomph behind it to affect Dustin Poirier. What happens this time? He drops him in the first.
A lot of that.
He drops him in the second. He gets dropped in the second, like he did that second fight.
Yeah.
But unlike before, he's able to stand back up and get right back into it. He didn't get knocked out in the second fight, but he looked bad and wore that damage the whole damn fight.
Right.
This fight, he bounced back, and then with 10 seconds left, like only Max Holloway, the blessed one, can do, points to the ground and says, yeah, I'm winning this. I know I'm up 3 rounds. It's about to be 4 rounds because I won the 5th, but let's do it, Dustin. And to Dustin's credit, at first, for about 3 seconds, he said, all right, let's go. Let's do it. After the 3 seconds, which he admitted at the post-fight interview,
he did.
He decided I didn't ate too many of these hands.
Absolutely
There's
not.
about 7 seconds left. I'm a grapple.
I felt like Dustin was like, bro, you're not knocking me out my
Yeah.
last fight.
Yeah, I saw
I'm
what
not
you did
going
to
out
Justin.
like this.
Mhm.
And he said, you know what? Let's wrestle.
Yeah.
And honestly, like when he pointed down,
Yeah.
and they start throwing hands, the first thought I had was Dustin, grab him. It's not gonna go your way.
You know his
Because
coaches
he
were
had
thinking the same,
he had a lot in the tank.
Yeah.
Like he was throwing
which is scary.
like crazy. He was throwing crazy. Oh,
Yeah.
that's all. Changing levels and everything.
Yeah.
It didn't even make sense.
Hands down.
Hands down.
Hands
Changing
down for
levels.
that whole 10 seconds.
Yeah.
He said, let's go. Let's get it.
Yeah.
My bob and weave can beat yours any day in the pocket. He proved to be the better fighter right now.
Bro, and how confident he is, because to be up and to still do that with your entire family there.
Yeah. He had his wife and kids in the crowd. He was the hometown boy fighting in New Orleans. He always jokes that he's from the swamps of Louisiana.
Oh, I'm talking about Max. The fact that Max did it being up.
Oh, yeah.
And
no,
then,
fair.
And then his family was there as well.
Yeah.
Where like he willingly went in for the risk of throwing bombs, knowing that you could get knocked out. And he said, whatever, I don't care. Like how secure he is with his performance and just with his own personality, because a lot of people don't want to do that. So because they don't want to be embarrassed.
Man, and that's why he is, in my opinion, the best BMF champ that you can imagine. People have problems with the BMF belt. It's not real. It's not that. It's not that. What is it's fun?
Yeah.
And who better to have it than someone who's not only fun, not only all action, not only will be up 5 rounds to 0, 4 rounds to 1, whatever you want to call it, still the last 10 seconds put it all on the line. But he's also extremely active. Max doesn't like to sit, man. He likes to be in there getting these rounds. And that's why we love Max Bless Holloway. Also, congratulations to the retirement of Dustin Diamond Poirier. All class afterwards. Nothing but
all
hugs,
class.
handshake. They were joking around backstage about how they didn't win fight of the night. Robbery.
It was a robbery.
Robbery, Dana White.
I don't know.
What are you looking at?
Kevin Holland fight was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Kevin Holland fight was good, but Marvin Vettori, Brendan Allen won that.
Yeah,
one fight at night. I don't understand it. It's what it is, because I will say this. With fight at night comes an extra $50K for each fighters. Max and Dustin, I'm positive, made out like gangbusters in their paychecks. So let that $50,000 go to somebody else. We all know what fight of the night was, though, Josh.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, to the next main event of that night, it was Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios. Now, I'm going to be honest with them, Josh. Because of my journalistic integrity, I'm going to be honest with them, Josh. We missed half that fight.
I ended up watching it.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to let you take over in 2 seconds.
Yeah, caught it on YouTube.
As a little disclaimer, we missed it. We were so enthused about the UFC card that we forgot there was a whole nother goddamn card that we were supposed to be watching.
Yeah.
We go ahead and look at Manny Pacquiao to see, I wonder if he walked out yet. And they're in round 6.
Yeah, that was surprising.
By the time we get there.
Super surprising.
But go ahead, Josh, take over for this one.
Yeah, I mean, it was surprising. Pacquiao, the 6th fight. I ended up watching the first 6 rounds. I mean, the first 5 rounds.
Okay.
Back. And, I felt like when we watched the second half, we were kind of confused about the draw. Once you watch the fight entirely, it's like, okay, word. Okay. This is definitely a draw.
Okay.
Who would I would have leaned towards giving it to?
That's what we want to know.
Kind of Pacquiao, just because of the story of it all.
That's what
the story of the fight.
Yeah.
He fought a resilient effort for the second half, and it felt like that Barrios just wasn't really doing much. Like as if he felt as though he secured the win in the first half, which that is one of the dumbest things to do in combat sports.
Hate it.
No, you don't fight to secure the win. You want to win every round because you never know how the judges see a particular round. Particular set of rounds. Oh, do they think we give him more credit because he's older? Or you never know. It's human error and result. It's human error involved in judging.
I don't think there's another saying that I dislike more in all of sports, Josh. Not just combat sports, all of sports. Other than to be the champ, you gotta beat the champ. 100%. And when they use that in the sense of the scorecards, like if it's a draw or you lose a close decision, like you should have knocked the champ out. That's not true. You're supposed to win more rounds than the other guy in every fight. Right. Doesn't matter if he's a champ. Doesn't matter if he's not the champ. So for someone to take their foot off the pedal as the champion,
it's weird
because you thought you'll get the benefit of the scorecards, which in my opinion, for the half a fight that I saw, he did.
Mm-hmm.
To do that, to me, it disrespects what we're supposed to look at as the champion, because the champion is supposed to do what Max did. So, but Max did is he pointed to the center. I don't need everybody to point to the center of the ring and
do all that.
Because that's why we love Max, right? But at the same time, you can't just let go and play safe in such How embarrassing would it have been? It's already embarrassing as
It's
hell.
already embarrassing.
It's already embarrassing.
It's already embarrassing.
But how embarrassing would it have been if he lost on the cards on a fight where he took his foot off the gas pedal to the second oldest champion ever in boxing?
History. And it's funny because
one of the oldest sports around.
He kind of acknowledged that he like kind of let go the last 3 rounds.
I would have acknowledged
which
that.
It seemed I would have never did that either.
Ever.
But even you have to beat the champ. I do agree with that saying, but the champion who's earned the title, when you've when you've taken the strap off of someone, when you've done that,
okay,
there's a certain level of respect you have for doing that. But when you're a vacant title holder, someone relinquished the belts, you didn't beat the guy that beat the guy that beat the guy, you're not the lineal champ.
That's the
or
word.
Whatever.
Yep.
Then it's just like, okay, that respect is kind of gone.
Sure.
The next person you're fighting is just kind of like fighting for the vacant champ. It'd take you defending that title a couple times for them to acknowledge you as a real champ.
Yeah.
Or you beating the other champions that are in the division that received the belt through vacant champion fights.
Yeah.
I mean, then you earn that respect because you taking straps off of people. But
that's fair.
Mario's Barrios, come on. If them titles aren't vacant and he doesn't fight a slouch for a vacant title, he's not getting the belt.
I'll tell you this, absolutely nobody wants to see a rematch.
No.
I have to imagine that all the clamor is about what champion Manny Pacquiao is going to fight next. But you tell me, Josh, you're plugged into the boxing world more than I am. What is the word? Have the Teddy Atlases of the world said anything about what they would like to see from Manny Pacquiao next?
What Manny Pacquiao is gunning for is a Floyd Mayweather rematch. Because the other no one wants to see him fight Mario Barrios again.
No.
And then the other champions, Pacquiao does not want any of that work at all.
Which I understand, he's 46.
Exactly.
I definitely understand.
He's 46 years old.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a wash, him fighting Mario Barrios, who is one of the weakest champions in boxing. But for the other 2 champions, why do you think Mario Barrios hasn't fought them?
That's fair. So let's see. We will hold off on waiting to hear more from Manny, more from the experts, and maybe a possible contract going around. I personally, because I love old guy fights, I know this is controversial, but I'm down with old guy fights. I'm even down with old guys on steroid fights. That's actually better than the old guy fights, in my opinion.
Floyd, Pacquiao, no drug testing.
Get on some,
amazing.
Get on some just get some EPO.
EPO, let's go. That's it. We good.
EPO, let's go. That's the motto for it. And that's all we need on that one, Josh. Now, let's get to the news, right? Because that was fun.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that. But now we're about to get a little journalistic for y'all, okay? The journalism is about to start journalism main, all right? So what's happening now, Josh, is so all this goes to one thing, right? All these next headlines we're about to give y'all, it's all surrounded by one thing. Yeah. And it's about the story that we've been covering for several weeks now, and that is that these Epstein files still are not released, still are not due to be released, and there's a whole bunch of distractions coming out to make you forget that. First being, the MLK files were released today, Josh. 230,000 plus pages have been released. That's going to take a long time to go through. So far, I haven't found anything juicy that hasn't been released rumored before, but I'm positive someone's going to find something at the same time. This is not going to quell the thirst of the people looking for those Epstein files. Real quick on that, Josh. Things that I did find interesting that were in those documents that I didn't know before.
Right? The King docs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's more information on the overseas investigation because they found the killer in UK, which I personally did not know. I'm going to tell you this. If I make it to UK,
you're not catching me.
Pre-internet, made it to UK? You think you're finding me?
First of all, why would he go there?
I mean, I can't ask that because I understand going
like
anywhere.
United States too.
That's fair. So why would he stay there is my biggest question.
Right.
Like I can understand going there, just be like, I'm gonna put an ocean in between me and this guy, but I'm not staying there. I'm going somewhere with a government that's under flux.
I would have stayed in Navy.
It's somewhere.
That's where I would have went.
I would have gone somewhere that's no longer a country anymore now. You know what I mean?
I would have went somewhere where
like one of the Slavias that don't exist no more.
Nationalism is big.
Yeah,
I did this for us.
Something.
I don't know.
Something. So that I thought was interesting. Also, the cell interviews of the interviews of the cellmate of the person that perpetrated these acts. They have some interviews on there. Pretty interesting. The MLK family was notified. They were provided these docs 2 weeks in advance to review. They personally did not want these docs to be released.
Yeah, we know why.
Because, it's personal things about their dad. Is people go in there. There was dirt on MLK, and they don't want that now to overshadow the good things that he did in his legacy. Can't sum it up any more than that, which I understand as his family. Now, the perpetrator, Ray, did die at the age of 98. He was serving a 99-year sentence. Now, the last thing that I thought was interesting on this, right, is a note from a government entity, right? And it were about the accusations of MLK and his ties to the Communist Party, right? Which, if you guys are any type of his history buffs or history nerds or whatever you want to call yourselves, right, you will know a lot of Black Power movement, a lot of the Civil Rights movement did have a lot of attempts and a lot of unity with the communist movement in the United States at that time. There's a lot of Black figures from between the 1940s and in the late 1960s that were either by professing it or by accusation linked to the Communist Party. Now, they called him the most dangerous Negro to the future of this nation as it relates to communism and national security. Now, take that for what you want. I'm not going to go over here and be like, oh, they meant this, they meant that. They shouldn't have said this, shouldn't have said that. Respect to his family, but I did think that was interesting. And the timing, of course, can't be anything but a goddamn distraction. Anything on that before we move past, Josh?
One of some of the key name, I think, if you're interested in this topic, is Bayard Rustin.
Okay.
You'll be very interested. If you're interested in this topic, you'll be interested to see who he is and his relationship with Martin Luther King.
Okay.
How he ties in, how the guy who is like kind of tied into communism, had a lot to do with planning certain famous speeches, how that even came about.
Interesting.
The Million Man Marches. You'll be very interested in seeing what that's about. I think it's a little too controversial for TikTok, but
we know how y'all do.
The name is Bayard Rustin, and then you look up him and Martin Luther King. You can also look at this key terms, the Wreckham Crew. This is a term that Martin Luther King and his group in school called themselves.
Wreckham Bulls.
You'll find out why.
Wreckham Bulls.
I
bet they wrecked people.
Yeah, and MLK's proclivity towards a certain type of woman. So, yeah.
Thank you for that, Josh. Again, we do not want to get banned. We do not want to get flagged. We do not want to get canceled before we even get started. But he gave you the little breadcrumbs. Go to follow that on Google. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the channel where you get the best damn news, the best damn travel footage, and occasionally me trying to work out with this guy. It's tough, but I do my best. Josh, appreciate you for that too.
No doubt.
Now, also linked to this is we have the House Speaker Michael Johnson. Now, I had this story prepared since last night. House Speaker Michael Johnson, right, stated that, yes, he understands Bondi, the Attorney General's request that she's going to start getting the process going to release the grand jury files of the Epstein case as proclaimed by Trump a few days prior. Now, what he's doing is saying that he's not going to allow a House vote on said files being released until after the break, which is post Labor Day. Now, that is what I came here to tell you guys. But during the day, because we're goddamn journalists and we listen to the breaking news, what we found out is that not only did he say that, but there was a House representative known as Massey. He's from Kentucky. He was trying to force a bipartisan coalition vote on these documents, even though his House Speaker was saying otherwise. Well, it looks like the House Speaker got wind because guess who's on vacation early? That's right. Tomorrow was supposed to be the beginning of that holiday, of that vacation, of that time off. But instead, they have now started that break today. Yes, that's right. They are not there for a coup. They are not there for a vote because they are home on vacation early. And this has even moved to the local governments as well. As a friend who's plugged in, shout out to you in Augusta. Let me know that the Augusta government has gone on their hiatus early as well to block a vote to petition the courts. Josh, thoughts on that bullshit right there?
A few things to think about. A lot of people are saying, hey, it is weird that Trump, all this has to occur when they campaigning on releasing the docs or X, Y, and Z. I feel like he really didn't know what was in there before he was talking and saying these things.
It does seem like that.
Literally, and clearly he's not in there. Clearly he's not on the list or have these logs or whatever, because he wouldn't be elected because they would have been released that. People forget that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were in the administration while all this was going on.
For 4 years.
So if they really had that information about President Donald J. Trump,
yeah,
that would have been released because they've been trying to lock him up for the last 8 years. So, like, you know, they probably would have said something. But it tells you why, it makes you think why he's not willingly releasing these executive orders, you know, abusing his power as he likes to do with certain things. But this thing in particular, he's like, I don't know about this. I think
what I believe. Said. It's not what I said.
Exactly. I didn't say that.
Never said this was important.
Why do you even have interest in this?
You guys are dumb.
What I believe that happened is
BZ's fault.
It's a couple names that would really tear down the system if it's exposed. So I believe what's going to do is they're going to make a show of it and then find a scapegoat on someone to blame. That's going to happen, and they'll release as little information as they possibly can to the general public.
Josh, that is a perfect segue because the original scapegoat, yes, we're talking about Ghislaine Maxwell, and if I'm mispronouncing her name, F her, she can go, skirt. You know what I mean? We're not even going to do all that. We're not here for the hate, but know that there's some for her, right? So the first the first scapegoat, Maxwell is what we're calling her. She is, we saw after this all kind of rearose, right? We saw her come out, her attorney at least, come out and say they would like to testify in front of Congress. That was shot down immediately, right? By all the powers may be. Now, we have the Justice Department via the Attorney General Bondi and the Deputy Attorney General. We have them reaching out to her counsel saying that they would like to talk to her, and any information that she has pertaining to crimes committed against others, they are willing to listen to for the first time. Josh, first of all, I can't believe that it's the first time they're having this conversation.
First time you talk to her, right?
A cabinet that ran on transparency. Like, and not only just regular, like, blanket transparency, right? But this specifically. This specifically. So then they get the power. She's Attorney General. I'm sure she can talk to any criminal she wants to.
Right.
She gets the power to do so. And we're, 7 months in?
She doesn't do anything.
And this is the first time we're hearing about it?
First of all, right? They're saying that if this lady knows about certain things that happen. Of course she knows about certain things. That's why she's sitting in jail, right?
And now when she's
it's just crazy, right? But then also, of course she knows something about it, right? But then also it's like, y'all didn't speak to her about anything. So you had evidence against her, you convicted her. I wonder if she got convicted. I'm not sure of the timeline, but was he already not alive as she got convicted?
That's a great question. I have to check. It's right up against it, but I'd have to check.
Because what I don't understand, the extent of what was going on, it seems like Epstein and Diddy were like kind of on the same wave, right? And the lady, this kind of correlates too. The lady that they actually have convicted already, she's kind of like the Cassie in the situation. No immunity, no nothing, no chance to do anything, right? But they only use the Cassie and the same, like a precedent was set, right? Although this was after, but it's just like, okay, this is the same degree. So what are they going off? What are the standards? What are the requirements? Where one gets immunity and this other lady gets 20 years, right? And then the other thing is where they're willing to talk to her now for people so she can say names of people who have possibly committed crimes. What about all the tapes? What about the logs? What about all those people? Are we not locking any of them up?
What about the stuff they do have? Which, again, as we reported, because we're goddamn journalists, their attorney who represented Epstein said there's at least multiple, to not misquote him, right? He wouldn't say 2, 3, 4, or 5, but more than one person that he feels like, in just the info that he knows, working the case, that they would at least have grounds to investigate. Yet we've heard zero about anyone being investigated for these crimes that was supposedly facilitated by someone who's serving a 20-year jail sentence.
Facilitated by her, but the main operator was Mr. Epstein, apparently. But if it was nothing to show about him, why is she arrested? Because you heard from the big guy, oh, there's nothing here. Who's him? He was nobody and blah, blah, blah. So why is this girl serving 20 years? And with no type of deal on the table about her cooperation and her revealing information that the government doesn't know. But if you have all the information that you know, in order even to substantiate her being convicted, why aren't we being like, why are we being informed about any of that information? Why don't we know? The people are very interested in this topic in general, probably more than anything else.
And you know what? For the regular everyday person, you're right. This is persona non grata. You know what I mean? Like, this is the number one story on anybody's mind. And not to mention, Josh, they're always going to use the whole thing like, oh, well, it's to protect the victims, right? As if there's never been a document released that was overly redacted.
Yeah.
Super redacted. We don't need names.
Right.
Right? We don't need exact ages, right? We don't need exact addresses. We need to know what happened. We need to know who else was complicit while it happened, right? Because there was also, and tomorrow I'm gonna get these names for you. There was 2 banks that were sued in their dealings with Epstein, right? Mm-hmm. How are they being sued? And they lost those lawsuits. They're being sued for, obviously they did something wrong. They lost a lawsuit. It was in connection to a known PDF and someone as salacious as Epstein, and none of those guys, none of his accountant, right? None of his portfolio managers, none of them have to answer for these crimes. So they did enough to lose a lawsuit, but they didn't do enough for their names to go out there, and it hasn't been released that we know exactly how much they knew or did not know. Now, if they didn't know anything, if they just saw dollars coming in, but I get it, you're a bank.
But this is the thing, though. But no way, like, just negligence doesn't excuse criminal act
or accountability.
But you're telling me all of this information is supposed to be all of these victims. There's only 2 criminal only really one, because he's never been convicted, right? But then there's no civil cases. There's no payouts to any victims or anything like that for people who are moving money and doing all things like them. They're not culpable of anything. Plus, also, when we speak of people want to know this, because why were they meeting? What was their common interest? What was their connection to him? Was it the, oh, we like X, Y, and Z? That can't be just the case. What were the business ventures? What were the what were the ideas that connected them? What was the was it religion? Was it praise of Molech or Baal? Any of these things? Were any of the conspiracies about the Illuminati or the Bohemian Grove, that this has anything to do with anything like that?
Shout out to Alex Jones.
The thing is, and he actually snuck in there and recorded things, right? But it seems pretty similar of the type of people who were at an event like that to the type of people who may have been associated with Jeffrey Epstein. Why are they correlated so much? Whereas leaders and people that are associated so much, where they want to classify documents and not just release it. It has to be something important, because why did they wait so long to release the MLK files? Why didn't they release that in his time? Why wasn't that readily available? Just like now, they're going to release these documents when we're 100 years old.
Josh, I want to leave it like that, because even though we're 2 goddamn journalists,
absolutely,
we are sit here left with nothing but questions. I believe you guys have a bunch of questions as well. We are going to continue presenting you with the news during our goddamn lunch break, because this is lunch break news.
Lunch break news.
Dumb lunch break bowls. The Pharaoh Alive. Josh, the Joshiest Josh to ever Josh.
On Phone Grade.
And we're going back to work, guys. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
We love you guys. Be back tomorrow.